I'm going to be sharing with you a few key takeaways from Simon Sinek's Start With Why. This is a fantastic personal development book, leadership book. If you are a leader of a business or organization, if you are a manager, if you are an entrepreneur, or just somebody looking for improvement, this is a great book to pick up. It's not a very big book. It's a fairly straightforward read, but I want to share with you a few key elements of why, pun intended, this book is a great book. So ironically enough, pun intended again, but my number one point is the actual title of the book. It's starting with your why. So the thing that Simon Sinek explains in this book is actually a really cool concept. If you go and find his TED Talk, this book is actually part of or comes out of a TED Talk that this guy gave. And it's all about starting with your why. And he explains that the core values of companies and their why behind what they do often determines their success. He explains that many famous and highly successful companies are not successful because they went out and sold and marketed their products, but instead they sold and marketed who they were and why they were in the industry they were in, why they were creating the products they were creating. And they create an element of kind of a cool or a wow factor in why they're doing what they're doing. So one example he gave was Apple computers. That's in the TED Talk. You can go and listen to that. But it was that they don't talk about, oh, we sell computers and they're highly innovative. They have all these great features. Go buy one. Instead, it was, we believe in pushing the status quo. We believe in making improvements to everyday life, so on. Those types of examples, it was their why they are doing what they're doing. And then you would get to the end and it would be, we make computers and technology. Do you want to buy one? Well, at that point, you're mentally invested. You're sitting there going, wow, this is a great company. This is so cool. This is awesome. Yeah, I want to support this company. But a lot of companies jump into different industries and they go, yeah, we do this one thing good, so let's jump in and do this other thing. It'll be great. Everybody will love it. But a lot of times they don't have their why in place, and that causes them to not be successful. So this also teaches a premise for the individual of you need to have your why in order, because if you don't have your why in order, then you may struggle with success. But if you know your mission, you know your values, you know your purpose, your calling, those things are what you lead with, and the rest will follow. So another takeaway that Simon Sinek includes in this book is you should start with why, but then know how and then what. So you start with why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you pursuing the career or the education or the organization that you're pursuing? Why are you doing that? Then you start to follow that up with how are you doing it? How are you going to lead this organization? How are you going to achieve whatever your goal is? And then what is the outcome? You don't start with, I want this outcome, this is how I'm going to get it, and this is why. You flip it backwards. And so Simon, in this entire book, what he argues, and there's research all throughout it, and he shares the concepts, it's a psychology thing. For us, it is important in the psychology to start with why based on our brain structure and brain chemistry. That it is more reinforcing. We are more likely to buy into an idea or a belief of why, good values, rather than a what or a how. So Simon also takes this and he continues it on even into the realm of communication, and he stresses how it's important to listen first rather than speaking in communication. So this is something I stress in connecting with people and communicating. I do a lot of communication training, and people often, they think about it's just speaking, which is what I'm doing here. I am speaking to a camera. You are consuming, listening to this content. You are hearing me speak. That's one hard thing with connection is I can't see you. I can't interact with you one-on-one or in an audience, but I'm trusting you are invested or connecting with me here even on video. And I have to listen. If you leave comments down below, are you listening? Are you getting anything from this? I will read them. I listen and understand what's going on. That is that listening aspect of communication. The same in a room is you have to read the room and listen or judge body language and reaction, what's going on. But he starts with the why in this book of Listening is what you should do first in communication. So he even addresses that. And so that's even better of a personal development book. And then the last thing he stresses, connection over selling. Obviously, if you're in business, you're trying to make a profit, you're trying to sell some good or service. That's obvious. If you are in any kind of organization, even if it's a nonprofit organization, you are trying to get people to buy into your mission and what you're doing. Connecting with those people, having them buy in and believe into your core values, your why, before you try to sell or convince or persuade them in any way. Before you try to teach them something or share or get them to adopt your mission of the nonprofit, you have to connect with them. You have to start telling them why the mission is important, why you're doing what you're doing, why it should matter to them. You start with the why, you build the connection, you build the rapport, then the selling, then the buy-in, then the adoption of the mission all follow suit. So those are some important takeaways from this book. You should start with your why. Determine your core values. Determine why you do what you do. Know your why, then how, then what you're trying to accomplish. In communication, you listen first, then you speak and share whatever you have on your mind. And then the importance of connection over selling or persuasion or whatever it is. Depending on your industry, what you're doing, that's important. Even in personal relationships, you connect first, then you build stronger connections. So those are some important takeaways from Simon Sinek, Start With Why. If you want to buy this book, there's a link down in the description below. You can click that and go purchase this book on Amazon. Highly recommend it. This is a great book. Hope you enjoy it. If you pick it up, maybe you already have read it, you enjoyed it. Still watching this video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.